Hey guys, welcome. This is our review of the study guide for Algebra 1. So let us go ahead and get started here. Our first question here, which of the following is not a correct translation? Well, all of these are actually correct except for this one. 7 less than x would mean that the 7's behind. Whenever you see the less than, the first number actually is going to go behind it. Okay, so that one is in the incorrect one. Number 2. This is a demonstration of distributive property that 2 is getting distributed into the parentheses of x minus 4. Okay. Number 3. I'm going to go pretty quick here. Which of the following is equivalent to 2 to the 4th power? 2 to the 4th power is going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which would be, well, 2 times 2 is 4, and then 4 times 4 is 16. That would be the same as just 4 squared, which is 16. Okay, so B. Number 4, which step do I do first? Well, we got to follow PEMDAS. There's nothing to do in parentheses, no exponents, so we go straight to multiplication division. So we're going to multiply -3 to the -2. Number 5, we're going to go ahead and evaluate. We plug in 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 10 is 2. We get 2 as our answer. And you should only be going over this after you've already done all of this. This is just a review to make sure you got the right answer. Plug in -3 squared. Negative times a negative is a positive, so I do come out with a positive 9. 2 to the 3rd power is 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. We do 2 times 9 is 18, and then 8 times 18 is 144 positive. Again, -3 squared here is in parentheses, so negative times a negative is a positive 9. We might get this whole thing done in 15 minutes. Let's do it. Number 8, okay, which of the following is equivalent to 3 to the 4th power? Well, it's basically writing out 3 to the 4th times 3 to the 4th, which would be the same as 3 squared over 4 squared. Number 9, x equals 10 plus a -3, which is just 10 minus 3, which is 7. Which is equivalent? Which of the following is equivalent? Well, when I do this, is basically like saying the square root of 25 or the square root of 9, which would be C. We did this one in class number 11. First parentheses, 2 minus 7 is -5. Then 9 divided by 3 is what we could do, which is 3. And then 2 squared, which is 4. We can kind of do all these as 3 separate things, and then make sure we have a plus and a minus. 3 plus 4 is 7. Negative and negative make it a positive 5, which gives us 12. Number 12, right after it, we combine like terms. 3x and 2x makes 5x to the 3rd power. The powers do not add. We don't get 5 to the 6th power. I made that mistake at first, but I corrected it. 9y plus 5y is going to give us 14y. And then 6x squared has no one to combine with. We get the answer of B. If h represents the number, which equation is correct? 4 more than 50, so now 4 is actually going to go behind. So I automatically write that when I see 4 more than. 50 times the number, that's going to be 50 times the number, means equals 250. If we do that right, we should get D as our answer. Number 14, we did this in class, add 12, and you get K equals 40. Given this equation, which of the following inverse operation will not help solve? Well, if I add 4 to both sides, it's not going to cancel anything out. When we do inverse operation, let's hope to move things from one side to the other, which means it's getting rid of something on one side. And 4 would not do that by adding it. Which value of P is a solution? In this case, we want to do the lighter lifting. Subtract 4P from both sides to get 4P plus 2 equals -10. Subtract 2. To get P alone, we get -12, and divide by 4, we get -3. 4 goes into 12 3 times. One's positive, one's negative, so we get -3. Johnny made $20 for babysitting his sister for 2 hours. So $20 equals 2 times how much money did he make? Divide by 2, he makes $10 per hour. Which means if he works for 5 hours, he's going to do 5 times $10 an hour. He's going to make $50 an hour. Which expression is equivalent to this, or equation? Well, if you solve all these, only A actually solves for 50, which means we get 2 times x and 5 times 20, which is 200 divided by 2. So A is our answer. 18, we got all of our work right here. Negative 4 times 24 is 96, so we're distributing. And then negative 4 times 8 is negative 32. Add the 96 to both sides, and we get 32. And over here we have negative 32. Divide by negative 32, and that's how we end up with W equaling negative 1, which is our answer of C. Number 19, we did this one in class. When we're solving a proportion, we cross multiply. It's going to be 5 times 30 and 6 times x. We get 150 divided by 6, which is going to end up with 25, even doing our long division. At any time, you can pause the video to see the work if I'm going too fast. We did this one in class as well. Z Mobile is having a 25% off sale on their new J Phone 6 as a regular price of $405. So the following is the best approximation. You can actually multiply this by 0.25 to the decimal form, or you can think of what's a quarter of $400. That would be 1/4, which would be approximately $100 off. But we're asked what the new sale price is, so don't pick 100. Pick 100 off of the 400 price, which would be about $300. Absolute value equation, we cannot put into two cases until I get rid of the 7 out here. So we got to get the box alone. So we divide both sides by 7. Once I do that, I get x minus 6 in parentheses, or sorry, in absolute value bars equals 7. We break into our two cases. X minus 6 equals 7, and x minus 6 equals a negative 7. Add 6 to both sides, and we end up with 13 and negative 1, and D as our answer. This is what we call a literal equation. It is made up of variables. We want to get it solved for m. So when we come over here, we want to get m alone. To do that, we first are going to subtract d to both sides. That's going to leave us with c minus d. Then we're going to divide by 2, which would give us c minus d divided by 2 is what m should equal. And that's what we get A. 23, Mrs. Wallen wrote 8 less than, that's less than as a subtraction side, 3 times multiplication, a number greater than 15. First of all, I took out the less than signs because those definitely couldn't be correct. But we have 8 less than. Remember, if I see less than, I'm going to automatically put the 8 in the back. And then 3 times x would go in front. This helps me differentiate between A and B, with B being the correct answer. 24, which inequality best describes the graph below? We have open and closed circle, so I know it's not going to be open and open. I know it's not going to be open and closed, or closed and closed. It has to be closed, then open. The bar on the bottom means closed, no bar means open. C has to be our right answer. 25, we're going to go ahead and just solve by adding 6, dividing by negative 2, but when we divide, we have to flip the inequality sign. And we get y is less than or equal to negative 2. Number 26, we subtract 3x with the lighter lifting over. We get 3x. Divide by 3. The sign does not flip because I did not divide or multiply by a negative, so we get x is less than 5. Number 27, we have this little situation over here where Cody is 68 inches tall. Can he ride? Well, if we add 6, this means he has to be taller than 56. He's 68 inches, so he suffices there. And he cannot be any taller than this equation, which subtracts 6, is 68. But the equal bar means he could be 68 inches, so he can ride it. So the answer is yes, Colby, you can ride the flamethrower coaster. Number 28, which is equivalent to this is a greater or equal to 80, which is the same thing as saying needs to be at least. That means Don is happy with an 80% or higher. Which of these is not a function? We could do the vertical line test, and the only one that fails is this one. Notice the vertical line hits the graph twice, which means it's not a function. Number 30, the first one, we have our domain and range. The domain is the x value. It goes from 1 to 6. The range goes from 1 to 7. B is our answer. Do the same thing on the next one. Our domains is just the list of x values, 0, 1, 2, 3, and the list of our y values, -5, -1, 3, and 7. And they're right there, B as well. Which of the following is true about this graph? Well, the only thing that is true is that it's not a function. I do a vertical line test, it hits twice. Everything else happens to be true. Number 32, I have to plug in -1 for x, so I do -4 times -1, which is a +4. Add to 2 gives me 6. Again, f of x is interchangeable a lot of times with y. Number 33, pick a relationship. The first thing I did is I plugged in 1 for x and 4 for y and see if they worked out. The first one I got 5 equals 4, that didn't work. For D, I got -1 plus 3 is 2 equals 4. That didn't work. But B and C both worked when I plugged in 1 and 4. Well, I know there's only one answer, so I had to go to the next one, 2 and 5. I plugged in 2 plus 3, gave me 5. That made me feel good. Over here, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, did not equal 5. That's how I knew C was the right answer. Okay. Number 34, which point lies on this? Well, I went and plugged in all the points, and it appears to be, when I plug in the correct one, 1 and -5. 1 times 4 is 4, -2 times -5 is +10, which gives us 14. You plug in the other ones, and they will not work. Identify the linear equation on the graph to the right. Well, we know the y-intercept is at 1, so it has to be B or C, and the slope here is -2 versus -1. So I counted down 1, 2 over 1, and that sounds like a rise of -2 over a run of 1, which B would be my answer. Without graphing, tell if this point is on the graph. Well, we plug in 3 and 18. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. 18 equals 18. Yes is our answer. Alright, we did this one in class, and what we came up with is -2 is where we should start. This was at 2, so that's not going to work. This one's at 2. So my real question is my quadratic going up or down facing? Is it a sad face or a happy face? And the key indication here is the negative sign. And this is not a part of it, but the negative sign right here tells us I have a sad face. B is my answer. Number 38 is identifying the x and y intercept. X is at 10, y here is at 5. Answer is D. If you don't have the equation or the line drawn, how do you find the x and y intercept of this equation? Well, to find the y-intercept, you plug in 0 for x, you get y equals 4. Plug in 0 for y to get the x-intercept of x equals -8. And D is our answer. Find the slope of this line. And the slope, now you know exactly what time I'm doing this right now, huh? The slope of the line is up 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3. To the right. So that's how I know the rise is 2, the run is 3. I counted. So count to do that one. Vertical lines go straight up and down. Their slope is undefined. You cannot ride a skateboard up it. So it's undefined. Find the slope of the line that contains these points. We put in the slope formula y1 minus y2 over x2 minus y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and we get 8 minus 4 and 9 minus 6, which gives me 4 over 3. A. Okay, I'm going to pause the video. We'll get it started to the next one.